Tyrrhenian Sea, near the island of Ustica, north of Sicily, Italy. Atavia Flight 870. Type: McDonnell Douglas DC-915. Route: Bologna, Guglielmo Marconi Airport, to Palermo, Punta Raisi Airport. Airline: Atavia, a private Italian airline. All 81 people on board died, 77 passengers, 4 crew members. At 8:59 p.m., Atavia Flight 870 disappeared from radar screens without a distress call, while flying over the Tyrrhenian Sea. The aircraft broke apart midair and plunged into the sea near Ustica. Wreckage was found in deep waters weeks later. Initial questions: why did the plane break up suddenly without a mayday? Was it a bomb, a missile, mechanical failure? Why was there military radar and aircraft activity in the area? For years, the government suggested it was an in-flight explosion due to structural failure or a bomb on board. However, investigations became increasingly complicated and politically charged. 1. Missile attack theory, most widely believed today, suggests the plane was accidentally shot down during a military dogfight involving NATO, likely US or French, and Libyan aircraft. Flight 870 may have been used as human shield by a Libyan MiG-23 jet trying to evade enemy radar. A NATO missile intended for the Libyan aircraft struck the DC-9 by mistake. 2. Bomb on board theory. Some suspected a bomb was planted on board, perhaps as an act of terrorism. No concrete evidence of explosives was ever conclusively proven in the wreckage. 3. Mechanical failure theory. Early investigations considered a catastrophic technical fault, but this was largely dismissed as inconsistent with forensic and radar data. In July 1980, a Libyan MiG-23 fighter jet was found crashed in southern Italy, weeks after Flight 870 went down. The Libyan pilot was found dead. This led to suspicions of an aerial battle between Libyan and NATO aircraft. Italian magistrates later concluded that Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi may have been the target of an assassination attempt by NATO allies that night. Ostia, a seaside suburb of Rome, Italy. Pier Paolo Pasolini, 53-year-old poet, filmmaker, and political intellectual. Pasolini's badly beaten and mutilated body was found early on the morning of November 2, 1975, near a football field on a beach in Ostia. His body had numerous broken bones, a crushed chest and face, tire marks, suggesting he had been run over by his own car, an Alfa Romeo GT. Close to the body, his car and personal belongings were missing. The scene was brutal and suggested extreme violence and overkill. Giuseppe Pino Pelosi, a 17-year-old male prostitute from Rome, arrested the next day, November 2, while driving Pasolini's stolen car. He confessed to the murder, claiming Pasolini had tried to sexually assault him. Said that Pasolini took him to the beach intending sex. Alleged that when he refused, Pasolini became violent. Claimed he killed him in self-defense with a wooden plank and ran over him in panic. Pelosi was convicted in 1976 of voluntary manslaughter and theft, receiving 9 years in prison. From the beginning, many aspects of the case didn't add up, raising suspicions that Pelosi did not act alone, or may not have been the killer at all. Severity of the injuries. Forensic experts believed one teenage boy could not inflict such extensive trauma alone. Multiple attackers suspected. The level of violence and nature of the wounds suggested more than one person. Lack of defensive wounds. Pasolini had no signs of trying to fight back, which was inconsistent with Pelosi's story. Political context. Pasolini was about to publish explosive works allegedly exposing political corruption and criminal ties. 2005, Pelosi recants confession 30 years later. In May 2005, Pelosi gave a stunning interview to Rai TV in which he retracted his original confession. Claimed that 3 men, possibly with fascist ties, killed Pasolini. Said he was threatened by these men to take the blame. Suggested the killing was planned and political in nature. Pelosi alleged the men used anti-gay slurs, indicating the attack may have been homophobic or ideologically driven. Multiple conspiracy theories and motives have emerged over the years. 1. Political assassination. Pasolini was a fierce critic of capitalism, the Catholic Church, and both the right and left in Italy. He was reportedly writing about links between Italian politicians, the mafia, and right-wing extremists in a book titled Petrolio, Oil. He possessed sensitive information related to the Eni oil scandal and possibly the Bologna train station bombing, 1982. Far-right involvement. The murder occurred during Italy's years of lead, marked by political terrorism and assassinations. Many believe neo-fascists targeted Pasolini due to his Marxist views and homosexuality. 3. Organized crime retaliation. Pasolini's car had been stolen weeks before. He arranged to recover it the night of his murder. Some suspect a trap was set under the pretense of returning the car. May have involved criminal gangs Pasolini had crossed in his investigations. Name: Emanuela Orlandi. Born January 14, 1968. Age at disappearance: 15. Date of disappearance: June 22, 1983. Location: Rome, Italy. Citizenship: Vatican City. Her father was an employee of the Holy See. Emanuela was a music student at the Santa Apollinare School in central Rome. She lived with her family in a Vatican-owned apartment inside Vatican City. After class, she called her sister to say she had been offered a job by a man from the cosmetics company Avon, who allegedly approached her near the school. Around 7:30 p.m., she was last seen near a bus stop, possibly speaking to someone in a green BMW. She never returned home. For the first 48 hours, Italian and Vatican authorities treated the disappearance as a possible teen runaway case. But when she didn't reappear, and strange phone calls started to come in, the case became far more serious. 1. Turkish connection and Mehmet Ali Arca. Arca was the man who tried to assassinate Pope John Paul II in 1981. Soon after Emanuela's disappearance, an anonymous caller claimed she was being held in exchange for Arca's release. A group calling itself the Turkish Grey Wolves claimed responsibility. Arca himself, from prison, later said Emanuela was abducted by a group close to the Vatican and the Bulgarian Secret Service, but his credibility was widely questioned. 2. Vatican involvement. The Orlandi family has long believed that the Vatican knows more than it has revealed. Theories involve her being abducted to exert pressure on the Pope, or to cover up scandals inside the church. In 2012, journalist Emiliano Fittipaldi published leaked Vatican documents suggesting that church officials were involved in Emanuela's management after her disappearance. 3. Organized crime link, Banda della Magliana. In 2008, Italian gangster Antonio Mancini claimed that the Banda della Magliana, a powerful Roman criminal organization, was involved. The theory suggests they kidnapped Emanuela to pressure the Vatican to recover a large amount of money the gang had lent to the Vatican Bank, IOR. A former gang member, Enrico de Pedis, was buried in a church owned by the Vatican, a rare honor that fueled suspicions. 4. Sexual exploitation and cover-up theory. Some testimonies claim Emanuela was abducted and used in elite sex parties involving powerful Vatican or foreign figures. In 2019, the Vatican opened 2 tombs in response to an anonymous tip that her remains were there, but nothing was found. 2012, a leaked document allegedly written by a Vatican official referenced Emanuela's transfer and expenses, implying she may have been alive for some time after 1983. The Vatican dismissed it as fake. 2018, a journalist received a tip suggesting her remains were buried in the Vatican embassy in Rome. Excavations found bones, but they were too old. 2019, 2 tombs in the Vatican's Teutonic Cemetery were opened. They were empty. 2022, Italian prosecutors reopened the investigation with new evidence and pressure from public interest. The case remains a major topic in Italian media. In 2022, the Netflix documentary series, Vatican Girl, The Disappearance of Emanuela Orlandi, brought renewed international interest. In 2023, Pope Francis authorized the Vatican's first-ever internal investigation, and the Italian parliament launched an inquiry in parallel. Emanuela Orlandi's case remains unsolved. No conclusive evidence has ever confirmed her fate, whether she is alive, murdered, trafficked, or buried secretly. Her family continues to campaign for truth, often accusing the Vatican of withholding vital information. Aldo Moro, a prominent Italian statesman and former prime minister, was kidnapped and murdered in 1978 by the far-left terrorist group Red Brigades, Brigate Ross, during a politically turbulent time in Italy. Date of kidnapping, March 16, 1978. Event, Moro was abducted in Rome on his way to Parliament, where he was helping form a coalition government between his party, the Christian Democrats, DC, and the Italian Communist Party, PCI. His 5 bodyguards were killed during the ambush. Captivity, Moro was held for 55 days in a secret location. During this time, the Red Brigades demanded the release of imprisoned comrades. Moro wrote numerous letters pleading for negotiation, even to Pope Paul VI. Government's response: The Italian government, under Prime Minister Giulio Andreotti, refused to negotiate, maintaining a strict no-deal with terrorists policy. Murder. On May 9, 1978, Moro's body was found in the trunk of a red Renault 4, parked halfway between the headquarters of the Communist Party and the Christian Democrats in Rome, a symbolic gesture. The assassination shocked Italy and exposed deep political divisions. It marked the peak of the Years of Lead, Anni di Piombo, a violent era of political extremism. Moro's death remains a symbol of state fragility, terrorism, and unsolved questions about possible collusion or hidden forces within Italy's own institutions. The Monster of Florence is the nickname given to an unidentified serial killer, or killers, responsible for a series of brutal double murders near Florence, Italy, between 1968 and 1985. The killer targeted young couples in parked cars in isolated rural areas, often during romantic encounters. Victims, 14 people, 7 couples, murdered over 17 years. Modus operandi: the killer used a .22 caliber Beretta handgun, and in several cases mutilated the female victims' bodies, suggesting a sexual or ritualistic motive. Earliest confirmed murder, 1974, though a 1968 killing was later linked. Last murder, September 1985. The case became one of Italy's longest and most controversial criminal investigations. Dozens were investigated, arrested, or accused, including local farmers, voyeurs, and even members of a supposed satanic cult. A man named Pietro Pacciani, a farmer with a violent past, was convicted in 1994, but the ruling was overturned and he died before a retrial. 2 of his alleged accomplices were later acquitted, and the true identity of the killer remains unknown. Born, November 16, 1922, in Montelepa, Sicily. Died, July 5, 1950, aged 27, Giuliano rose to fame in the 1940s as a Robin Hood-like outlaw, leading a band of armed men in Sicily. Initially involved in black market smuggling, he later became involved with the Sicilian separatist movement, EVIS, which wanted independence from Italy. He was both admired and feared, seen by some as a freedom fighter, and by others as a cold-blooded killer. Portella della Ginestra massacre, May 1, 1947, a May Day labor celebration was attacked by gunmen, killing 11 people. Giuliano and his band were blamed, though he claimed innocence and suggested political forces orchestrated it to discredit the left. In 1950, Giuliano was reported shot dead by police in Castelvetrano. However, rumors and evidence suggest he may have been betrayed and murdered by his cousin and second-in-command, Gaspare Pisciotta, in collusion with authorities. Pisciotta later testified that powerful politicians and law enforcement had manipulated and then silenced Giuliano. He mysteriously died by poisoning in prison in 1954, just before his full testimony.